y'all, this is Hope from Crafty Hope, and I am working on the Daisy Yellow ICAD 2019 challenge using some 4x6 index cards. Now, the ICAD stands for Index Card a Day, and like I said, I'm using the 4x6 cards. And Tammy at Daisy Yellow gives daily prompts as well as weekly themes. And so I work mostly with the prompts. I don't really touch on the themes any. And if I'm not inspired by the prompt, I don't even bother with that. I just play with some art journaling on an index card. Now, this video is cards 7, 8, and 9. This first one is card 7, and I'm trying to remember what the theme was. I think it was stencil. So I knew at some point I was going to bring some kind of stencil work into this design. So I started by doing my favorite thing. I know people are probably tired of seeing me do this, which is just take a bunch of different paper and collage it down. This is book pages and ephemera and whatever else I can glue down with a glue stick. And I glued that all down on my card. And I wanted to add some color, so I grabbed some of my, some inks. First I've got a green Liquitex ink, and then a copper, what is that? It's like a Dr. P.H. Martin's ink. I think I got it. I was having trouble getting it mixed up. All the glittery goodness had settled at the bottom of that one, and I couldn't quite get it to mix in, but I finally got it. And I start by laying a little bit of that green across the top, but it really was just kind of soaking into the paper and not bleeding like I wanted it to, so even with a wet paintbrush. So I added a little bit more, and I'm letting it drip on down to my underpaper, which is just a hardware store brown bag. And then I add a little bit of that copper and do the same thing. And where it's dripped on the bottom, I am just, just smushing that in there and picking it up and moving it around. I didn't have enough copper on one side, so I added some copper, no biggie. And I didn't even bother with the paintbrush there, I just used my finger. So I've taken my Stabilo all pencil in black, and I'm drawing just some straight lines out from the side with a little circle at the end. This is something, I don't know, I've been bringing into my art here and again, maybe not in these videos, but in different things. And then I just wet that paintbrush and darken that Stabilo line up. I did it over on the other side just to bring it to the other side of the page. And then I brought the stencils, and I found one that I liked. This felt kind of masculine to me, so I didn't want anything that was too girly to it. So I found just this one with these kind of, I don't know, like triangular, almost boomerang shapes. And I grabbed my midnight blue paint, which I love. This is just an acrylic paint. I think it's Americana, maybe. I'm not positive brand, but and I'm just using a cosmetic sponge and stenciling that on down in a couple spots. This made the card super busy to me, but I keep on adding stuff for some reason, and I'm a little frustrated with myself when I look back on the card because it's not exactly what I would like to have done, but I did something. I kept up with the challenge. So I grabbed some yearbook photos there and just grabbed, like I said, it felt masculine, so I went ahead and picked out a picture of a guy that was in there, a gentleman, and I glued him down. I kept his name and everything on there, and I thought his name was fun because I think it's Fabian something. And I'm backing him with a little bit of like notebook paper, and then I put some stamps down for some, I don't know, some unknown reason to me, because that just makes it even busier. Like I said, it was already so busy, I don't even know what I was doing. And I grabbed some large print text from a book. I think I looked at like 3 or 4 different pages. I was trying to find something that just jumped out to me, and I thought I had found something and started cutting it. I didn't like it, and so I grabbed another piece, and I think at this point I was like, just pick something. Just pick some words. And I picked out, I think it says "you were busy." This is absolutely no meaning, but it was just some words that I liked. And I guess maybe that has to do with how busy that page is. So, all of that I'm just gluing down with an Oohoo glue stick, and I'll go around that word here with my Stabilo just to kind of echo the Stabilo from the little lines I had done in the beginning. And I really wanted some red on there for some reason. Again, this was already so busy, but it needed red apparently. So I took a Colorix crayon and just added some little red dot dashes thing, and that was it. I'm glad I made myself stop because it like I said, this one was crazy busy. All right, So here is card 8, and this one I planned out a bit more. The prompt was goggles, and I have a reproduction Sears and Roebuck catalog that I found at Tractor Supply like a little while ago, a couple years ago. And I found the page that had the goggles in it and cut that little section out and photocopied it, and then found a what are those called? They're lost relatives from Tim Holtz. Found one of those pictures that some goggles fit on, and I love this little girl. She is just fabulous in those goggles. Just, I don't know, she rocks them. So I cut my little goggles out of my photocopied thing, and then I grabbed some. I've got some scrapbook paper here. I wanted something that kind of looked like tapestry for some reason. I don't know. That's just what I wanted. And so I found this piece and used some matte gel medium to glue it onto my card. And then I'm gonna let that dry while I cut out my little girl. I didn't want it to look like it was in a picture format, so I just fussy cut around the top of her, leaving her book and all that's in there, because I think that, I don't know, I like that she's sitting there with a book. And then I cut off the excess of that scrapbook paper. Now that scrapbook paper has a little bit of yellow in it, so that's going to come into play a little bit. It's got like some yellow roses that you can't really see in this video, but they're there in the background. And then I'm grabbing a little stamp. It's like a petal stamp, and you may have, if you've seen some of my other videos, you may have seen me use these before. They're individual petal stamps to make flowers, but I think they look perfect as wings. So I stamped that onto a piece of, which an old time book page is what it is, from the 20s. And I am fussy cutting those out, and I stamp that down with some stays on, so that's important for what's to come. And those are going to be wings to make, because I mean, you know, somebody that's flying around needs goggles. So, you know, those fairies probably should be wearing goggles. So that's kind of the direction I took. And I have I think it's a Finnabair stamp that says, don't forget to fly. So that, again, worked with this. And I was trying to work out how to bring some of that yellow from the background in. And I usually have another piece of scrapbook paper there. I thought, okay, how can I use this? But it ends up not working itself in. So instead, what I decided to do to bring the yellow is I grabbed some Distress Oxide, and I think that's fossilized amber maybe, and I tried putting that down on those wings. Again, it's good that I used the stays on, because other inks may have moved when I did all this wetting and stamping here. And so I kind of let those dry a little, but oh, actually no, I did break out the air dryer thing. What is that thing called? My heat gun. and um and I'm trying to figure out how else to add some yellow, and I finally realized I had this yellow Bria Reese glitter ink, and that, oh my gosh, look how beautiful that color is. So I used that right there on that extra piece of paper with the stamped sentiment on it, and I was like, you know what, I need that color brought over into her wings. So I just put a little on my nonstick craft sheet and paint on the wings, and while I had it out, I had a little bit of extra, went ahead and put it on the goggles too. So everything has a little bit of glitter ink on it. So, but it works out. This ends up being one of my absolute favorite cards so far in this ICAD challenge. Ooh, I'm talking too fast. So, anyway, I'm gonna slow myself down here. So I took I'm trying to get everything dry and placed and figure it out. And this didn't have a whole lot of like messy playing in it, other than adding this ink and collaging some things. Now that's just a basic black pen that I am circling the sentiment there with, and then I'm just going to rip around the sentiment to get it. I liked frayed edges, so that worked out. I thought maybe I would want to layer that with something, but no, I like it just the way it is. So from there, I just start gluing everything. I use a combination of the Oohoo and the matte gel medium to glue it down. The Oohoo really is good for the thinner things like the sentiment and the wings, but as far as that heavier photo, what is it, lost relatives photo, I'm using the matte gel medium because it helps with the heavier things. So, and I am just getting everything kind of glued down where it goes, and after that, this baby's done. And like I said, I really love her. She was a little more planned out than some of my things, but that works sometimes, you know. And that's it, guys. All right, I love it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. I've got one more to go. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you here in a second is card number 9. Now the theme for it was macaroon or macaron, and since it is I think it's French. I hope it's French. Otherwise, this is crazy. I think it's a French like cookie, and so I grabbed a little French book, a book that I have that's in French, and ripped out a couple pages, and I'm going to put that down for my background, and that's all I'm going to use. I'm not using a bunch of other little things. I'm just using this page from this French book, and I'm using my Uhu glue stick to glue it down because it's just some thin paper. This one again, I planned out a little bit. It surprised me how it came together, but I am really happy with this one in the end. It's not super crazy, but I like it a lot. So I have, you can see kind of up there to the top right, a bunch of different colored acrylic paints. They are kind of pastel-y and fun, and what make me think, I've only had macarons once, and I've been to a shop once, and they were all these beautiful colors and flavors and all that, so I kind of picked out colors I thought, kind of represented that pretty little shop to me. And I'm just going to take a paintbrush here and make some like oval shapes on here. I'm just doing one color at a time and doing 3 of these oval shapes. And just cleaning my brush between each of them. I start with the lavender, and then I've got kind of a limey green, and then a parchment type color, which I thought was going to be my yellow, but it ended up just being like vanilla, I suppose. And then I've got a pale like sky blue, and then a peachy pink. And in a minute I'll pull out, I decided that vanilla color just didn't work for me. I wanted a pop of yellow, so I'll pull out more of a saffron yellow here in just a minute once I get all these other colors down and realize that I just need that pop. So, and I don't even know what maybe, like I said, I've never really had macarons, but something just made me want to do something a little more literal, I suppose. So yeah, there's that yellow I was talking about, and I love that saffron yellow. So then I try to, bring in some of those other colors, which I realized, I had to fill out some of the spaces, but I didn't want it to be too overly crowded. I want each of them to have their own little space. Somehow I only did it with 3 of them, of the blue, 3 of the blue ones, but that's okay. Everything else I do is blue, right? And from there, I don't know, something hit me to grab my hand carved stamps, and I've got one that's kind of like an oval bullseye, and it seemed to be the exact perfect shape of these little ovals I had made on the page. And I took Distress Oxides in colors that were pretty similar. I don't have a huge collection. I don't have all the colors of Distress Oxide, but I had enough that went with this, the colors I'd picked out for this card. And this is the part I really didn't plan. I didn't really plan past the little acrylic paint ovals on this one, but this fell together beautifully. So each of those little ovals is getting just a quick stamp of the Distress Oxides. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's wrong with me today. And then from there, I'm going to grab some letter stickers. These are almost like chipboard letters, but they've got kind of a faceted glass or a beveled glass design on it. Oh, I did go around the outside of this with a little bit of walnut stain Distress Oxide to frame it up. And I thought I was going to bring in some lace to give it more of a girly feel, but yeah, I decided I did not like that. That was going to be too fiddly. So instead I grabbed these, like I said, they're kind of thick chipboard-like stickers. And I was having trouble that why the sticker part kind of tore in the back. So in a minute I'll use some of my matte gel medium to make sure it's glued down to stay on there. And I'm just writing out the word yum on there because, macarons are supposed to be yummy. Like I said, I've had them once. They were good. They were fine. It's not something I crave. But they're good. So I put that, and then to kind of make those letters pop just a little bit more, I grabbed that walnut stain again and put it down on my craft sheet and used a wet paintbrush to just give it a little shadow so it pops. And that's it for cards 7, 8, and 9, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope to get these out to y'all a little more I don't know, quickly here soon. We'll see. Everything's been a little crazy lately. But if you are liking my videos, make sure to subscribe so you can see more. Give me a thumbs up and let me know what you think. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Bye.